Luke Charsk on Instagram is an 18-year-old guy who has a very peculiar way of learning things. He takes a random skill, his latest being the saxophone, he goes on Facebook Marketplace, he buys whatever he needs, finds a tutorial, and then he just does it. For how many hours it takes, uninterrupted, until he learns. Seems crazy, right? Well, here's him on his latest video playing the saxophone after 14 hours of learning. Or here juggling while on a unicycle. Or doing a wheelie on a bike. And to me it is inspiring because as someone that's tried to learn a lot of things, and you probably have this experience, usually you're motivated, let's say, to learn a song like you did on the saxophone. But as soon as you go to online, to anywhere, you're quickly confronted with the fact that people are telling you, you know what, don't learn the song just yet. You need to learn the fundamentals, you need to learn how to read the music, you need to do all of these things before you can actually get to your song. Because if you don't, then you're going to develop bad tendencies, you're not going to understand what you're doing, and it's just not ideal. So instead of doing that what you want, go and watch this 100-hour course, and then maybe at the end you're going to be able to do the thing you wanted. The problem is that with this approach is that in the wanting to do things very perfectly and very correctly and not developing any bad tendencies, you end up not developing any tendencies at all. Because how many of you have bought books, have bought courses, have bought things that you said, yeah, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to learn to paint and to write and to do these things, and then you never pick them up. It just stay there and you keep delaying in your mind because it feels overwhelming and boring and you don't want to do this right away. And then you see this guy online on Instagram and he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna do any of that. I'll learn the song, I'll learn the wheelie, I'll learn the juggling, and I'll just learn how to do it. How many of you and how many people online have this need to create and to do things and to go above and to feel like there's a void inside that you're trying to fill and that you're consuming too much and you want to create, you don't want to just be a consumer, but then you don't know where to start and you get paralysis by analysis and you feel like, I don't know if this is for me, it's too complicated, and you don't do anything. And very quickly you just go back to consuming and you're like, I'll just watch the YouTube video. You know what? Too complicated, I'll just scroll the reels, watch the YouTube video, I'll go to my job, and that's fine. But it's not fine. And it's not fine because there's a part of you that is calling for you to do more and for you to learn these things and for you to just to dare a bit more fundamentally, and you're not doing it. And I believe that one of the biggest barriers that we end up facing and falling for in this whole situation is that instead of just starting and trying and doing things, we end up asking for permission. And as I'm going to talk about and we're going to see, asking for permission is perhaps the worst thing you can do if you actually want to do anything in your life. For example, I recently got very much into golf a few months ago. But the way I got into it wasn't just because one day I thought oh, golf's cool, so let me go and find the best drills online. And I'm just gonna do drills, because drills are so fun. No, it was I went to play with my dad. Most of it was shit, but one of the swings, I hit the ball, it felt good. It was oh my God, I hit the ball, it went somewhat far for someone that doesn't play. And there was a little reward, a little dopamine spike there, because it was oh my God, this is cool when it goes like that. And only having that could I then go and keep going to now to the point that now I'm doing the boring drills. Now I'm there swinging to the top, pausing, and now down, and now looking at the video, reviewing what I'm doing wrong, all of those things, and progressing faster because of it, of course. That's the way to do it. But you can only get to that part if in the beginning there's something that feels fun and good and engaging about it. And you looking for validation and for approval and for some semblance of permission to actually do the way that you feel that you should do it is hindering the complete process. Not only about these specific skills, because that is bad enough as it is, but when we look further and we ask, why do you want to learn these skills? Why do I want to do these things? Why do so many people nowadays start, and I feel like they start being drawn to not only learning more things and experiencing more things, but things that feel more real. So it's not only about photography, but so many people are learning film photography, or people are not just wanting to do beats on, some programs, but it's you want to play a real instrument and you want to do things that actually feel real. And I think when you think about it, and you look at a world, the one that we live in, that just becomes more and more kind of fake as we go along. You're scrolling on a screen that is digital, that is essentially 2 dimensions. It shows 3 dimensions, but it's like you're just tapping always in the same sort of dimension and scrolling. And then you're looking at content that a lot of times is AI generated, that feels fake. It doesn't feel real. No one created that. There wasn't really an interaction for this to be created. And it just brings out the human's need for things that are real. Because when we look at these things that are real, are us interacting with the world and leaving an impact. When I draw with a pencil, the pencil is being destroyed and the paper too, and the mark, it's like I'm leaving the pencil on the paper, or the paints, or the guitar string is being worn out as I play and I feel the vibrations. These things feel real. And we want them and we need them, because in an age where our needs are essentially, all our needs are fulfilled, the basic ones, you have shelter, most likely if you're watching this, you have food, you have water, you even have internet, and this little rectangular screen or this rectangular box with light that gives you endless entertainment. That throughout history, thousands of years, no one has ever had this. And despite all of this, I would argue that people feel more empty than ever. And that is because we just consume, we don't create. And I'm rambling a bit too much, but if we want to begin creating, going all the way back to the beginning, we have to be more like this guy. You have to be more like this guy. If you want to play the saxophone, just buy a saxophone off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and go play. Find one tutorial about one song you like, no matter how hard it feels, and just sit there until you learn. If you really want to be that dramatic, because at the end of the day, all of this advice boils down, for how simple it is, to just do it. But I know you know that already. We all know that we should just do it. Nike has been telling us for years, but it is just that. But to not leave you with just that, going one step above, it really boils down to you just following your intuition. Beyond logical thoughts and rationalizations and pros and cons lists, should I do this, should I not? You have to be a bit humble and recognize that me picking up the guitar today, or whatever it may be, I cannot see where this will take me. I can't even see the next step, a lot of times, much less the 100 steps forward that come after that. All I know is that there's something inside of me that feels right, that doesn't feel like it's just some impulse to wrong things, that wants me to do this. Now, what that impulse is, as I see it, is your intuition. It's all of the subconscious things you cannot put in an Excel sheet. All your past experiences, the things you want, what you feel is right, what you don't feel is right, what you've seen happen in your life that is good, that is bad, the regrets you've had, all these things, and they're condensed into sort of this whisper feeling that is telling you, you know what, it'll be pretty cool. You should kind of go and try the guitar. You should go and try the film photography. Perhaps you should follow this business idea you have. It's a pretty good idea. And if you allow yourself to follow that, and that intuition, even though you can't see all the steps ahead, even though you can perhaps only see the next step in front of you, what you will recognize is that as you take a step, the next one appears, and the next one appears. And follow that for long enough, and you're gonna look back in a year from now, 2 years from now, you're gonna be like, I have no idea how I even got here, but I know it is much better. And I would have regretted if I, at that time, when it was just a simple thing to start that business or to play the guitar or whatever it may be, if I didn't follow that, my life would be completely different. For the worst. Always is for the worst if you don't follow these things. And so I can tell you, no one can tell you where these things will lead you. It starts in A, but it ends in Z a lot of times. You don't know what twists and turns and how things are going to go. But they're going to go better. And you have to follow them for your own sake. So please stop looking for permission. Stop looking for someone to tell you that it's okay to do the things you want to do. Recognize that not only are you in the best time perhaps in the world to live with the most access to everything, but you have a God-given right of free will of choosing the things you want to do. So stop looking at others, at me, at other videos, at people to tell you that you can do them. You can do them, so go and do them.